Hello, my name is Ben Burns, founder of Dark Gold Games and creator of Ultimate Dinosaur Fighting. Ultimate Dinosaur Fighting is set in the near future. After people are tired of looking at dinosaurs in Jurassic Parks, they started to pit fight some of the smaller dinosaurs. The sport grew and grew, and with such an economic boost to all the countries' economies, it grew worldwide quickly and is only illegal in the United States. Eventually, scientists got into the picture, adding mutations and tech upgrades until we have what the game demonstrates today. I launched Ultimate Dinosaur Fighting on Kickstarter earlier this year. It was wildly successful. They've all been delivered to the backers, and I'm looking just for some more advertising and exposure for the game, and Pax Con would be a perfect fit for me, and I think Ultimate Dinosaur Fighting would be a perfect fit for you guys as well. So I wanted to go through the game. This is what you get in the game, and go through the components real fast. It's a full board game, as you can see, 18 by 18 with a hex fighting map in the middle. The game comes with 10 metal dinosaur miniatures that were sculpted just for the game. In addition, it comes with a full color rule book. The rule book has there's great artwork in it, as well as it breaks the game down into a basic game to get people started early. That's what I would probably be demoing at the convention. It also then adds in advanced rules, which then adds in mutations and tech upgrades, as well as event cards, and adds in a campaign game setting as well, for those who really want to get into it and build their dinosaurs up. So like I mentioned, the game comes with tech cards, which have everything from lasers and rocket launchers to brain implants. Then there's also mutations. Mutations can include everything from spiky bits and acid pools to chameleon and flame breath. And then you have event cards, which are also part of the game, which include everything from Stuck in the Mud, the Meteor Strike, which is always fun, Second Wind, etc. So, in addition to those, the game comes with 6 action decks. Action decks are numbered 1 to 15, and each deck is the same, different colors on them, so that you can easily sort them and tell who played which card if there was any confusion. The numbers at the top represent initiative order that the cards are resolved in, and then modifiers for that card, attack modifier, defense modifier, and then what type of card it is, and then the text telling you what happens. So I'll get into those a little bit later on what they do. You also have status special tokens. This includes, whether somebody falls down or paralyzed or stunned. This also has some markers for some of the special mutations, the acid pools or armor. Let's see here. On the board is a chart that tells for any status, stunned, paralyzed, and fallen down, and what happens to that dinosaur, how they resolve it. And then we have terrain. There's 6 different types of terrain on 30 different markers. 10 of each terrain. They're double-sided. So we have rocks, rubble, oil, water, ice, and lava. We also have victory point markers. As you do damage to different dinosaurs, to opponents' dinosaurs, you gain victory points for those, and that's how you actually win the game, is whoever has the most victory points at the end of the game. Obviously in a 2-player battle you just go till somebody dies, but when you're playing with 3 to 6, the objective is to get in and do as much damage as you can as quickly as you can before somebody dies. This prevents people from just running to the outside and trying to avoid combat, and it also prevents somebody who dies early on and he's sitting out for half an hour to an hour while everybody else finishes the game. So as soon as somebody dies, the game will end within a couple of minutes, and you can jump right in and start another game. In addition to those components, you have the life counter markers, you have the turn markers, and you have the dice. You have the dinosaur reference cards. Dinosaur reference cards include stats for the dinosaur, speed, whether large or medium, any special attacks that they have, their custom attack, which each dinosaur has their own unique custom attack, and then hex facing attack and defense values. In addition, each dinosaur have its own life track. Here's the Tyrannosaurus Rex, and you can see I have the life counter set at 20. When he reaches 0, he's dead. He has a speed of 5 as compared to the Stegosaurus, which has a speed of 4, and this represents how many times they get to move over a course of a round. So the way the game plays, it actually plays in 2 phases. The first phase is a movement phase only, and the second phase is an action phase. This chart here lets you know whether you get to move or not on each turn. So if somebody's speed 4, like the Triceratops, he only gets to move every other turn. But whether you move or not, you always get to play an action card. And some of the actions include some movements, like sprint, back up, sidestep, etc. These are the only time you can do those special movements. So normally, when a dinosaur moves, he always moves directly forward. Now he can rotate before he moves, or he can move and then rotate. But he's always moving forward. You never have to move, you never have to rotate. And that's where it starts becoming a very tactical game. You can't just freeform move around, it becomes too easy. So, in this case, the Triceratops would move first because he's a slower dinosaur, and then the Triceratops might move. So you try to get away from those double sharp horns. Then each player would play an action card face down. So in this case, the T-Rex might do a sidestep action, while the Triceratops might do a sprint action to close in fast. So once the cards are played, cards are flipped over at the same time, and then you go in the initiative order. Seeing that he's sprinting, he might not want to let the Triceratops get behind him, so he might sidestep over this way to prevent the Triceratops from getting behind him. Since he can't move through the rock, he'd be stuck with just moving directly forward. So the action phase has ended. We would discard these cards until the end of the round and move to the next turn. In the next turn, the 4s, the Triceratops, would not get to move, but the T-Rex does get to move. Not wanting to face the double horns, he's going to move forward and then rotate 1. This puts each one on their number 2 facing each other. The T-Rex likes that, and so when we come to action time, we get to pick what we're doing. The T-Rex, the Triceratops might go with a basic attack, and the T-Rex, even though it's a little bit on the risky side, he might go with more of a fierce attack, giving him a little more strength. So once we reveal the cards, we see that 6 is going to go before the 9, so the Triceratops gets his attack first. He's on the number 2 facing, so he has an attack of 11. His gets no modifiers from here, and so he'd roll his dice, so he has a 14. The Tyrannosaurus Rex, on his number 2 facing, has a 9, but he's modified by 1, so it's an 8. So he's a 12. So 14 to 12, and the T-Rex would lose 2 life points, as you can see here. And the Triceratops would gain 2 victory points. Then, on the Tyrannosaurus Rex's turn, he would get to do his fierce attack. So 15 plus 1 plus the 6 is 22. And the Triceratops has an 11 plus 5 is 16. He'd do 6 life points to the Triceratops. So I would move his life counter from 20 down to 14, indicate the 6 points, and he would get 6 victory points. And this would continue with moving and actions until somebody reached 0 life points. That's how the game works. Thank you for considering Ultimate Dinosaur Fighting for PAX Con. I look forward to hearing from you and being a part of PAX Con 2017. Thank you.